Okay, here we go. The Pen and Maggie Show.
He's about to get crazy and wild. Stay for a while. Don't touch your radio dial.
The Pen and Maggie Show.
Kicking it back, sports talk. Listen to that and stay tuned for some giggles and laughs. Go.
You know, I was a part of the 67 team, 75 team, played in a couple of World Series. But, you know, try to treat people right. That's the big thing. See, my belief is that we're not our vocation. You know, my vocation is playing baseball. That's not the person I am. If anything, being remembered as the player, and I caught the last ball, isn't as important to me as me being the person that I hope to be, and I hope I am, and that is caring for other people.
Welcome to the Planet Mikey Show.
That is going to be our guest on tonight's podcast, and we're going to introduce Rico in just a moment here. But first, let me introduce the program, because I'm a professional announcer. In the continuing saga, the epic journey, our search for truth, justice, and a better and far more effective treatment for toenail fungus, this is Planet Mikey, episode 139. Bill Smith is here. Bill is the Obi-Wan Kenobi of radio and podcast production, as well as the owner/proprietor of Pelham Island Studios in Sudbury, Massachusetts, where the sound quality is unmatched in the history of the industry, and Snapple is abundant and chilled to perfection. Ben Kitchen is here under many of his false identities. Ben has continued to work in the global podcasting industry in many foreign countries. Here in America, he's known, of course, as Ben Kitchen. In Mexico, he's Benjamin Cocina. In Sweden, he's Ben Cock. And in Turkey, he's Ben Mutfak. Did you know that kitchen in Turkish is mutfak? You know?
We do now.
I worked with mutt and fak mutt. Ben is blessed with the ability to appear to be working and doing things and productive while actually accomplishing absolutely nothing.
You've noticed.
It's an art form for Ben. I'm retired underwear model Mikey Gad Pouch Adams. And I made my bones in the industry using, of course, Kmart underwear, a fresh cucumber, and a couple of golf balls. With salutations and respect to our sponsor, Mancini Landscape Design, serving Central Massachusetts in a prompt and professional manner. And Rick Mancini is Italian, no less. Check him out on Facebook and see the amazing things he did, not just to my yard, but to many other yards. Mancini Landscape Design, 508-872-8228. Next week's guest will be John Dennis, and Rico Petrocelli knows that because we spoke yesterday on the golf course, didn't we, Rico, with Dino?
Yeah. Yes, we did. It was great. I haven't talked to John in a long time, by the way, Mike. And he was just an excellent broadcaster. Of course, he was on TV7 for years as a sportscaster. Yeah. And it was great talking with him. And it's great talking with you, man.
It's good to see you. I saw you at the golf course yesterday. Last week, a week ago Monday, right?
Yeah. That's right. Let me check my calendar.
It's the Boston Sports Museum, the Boston Sports Museum annual golf tournament. How'd you hit him that day, by the way, Rico?
Well, I did. I hit him. There was a lot of green when I hit him, but mostly on the sides, with little trees in them here and there. But I cheated and I threw him out. You
spray the ball. You spray the ball like Rod Carew.
Right, exactly. Hey, by the way, Mancini, boy, that's a great landscaper. He plays for Baltimore on the side, right?
Now, I got to ask you, Rico. Okay, first of all, for those of you listening, if you're too young to remember Rico Petrocelli, then just hang up. I mean, just push the button.
No.
This is a guy I've been a fan of since 1965. A guy who is a member of at least two different halls of fame. That would be the Red Sox Hall of Fame and the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. I found out yesterday, Rico, that you're in that.
Yeah, I was. There was nobody else available, no other Italians around, so they said, who the hell are we going to get? And what a thrill it was to be able to go into it. They said, can you give us something, so we can put it in the display and all that with all the other people? I said, well, I do have a game-used uniform. He said, oh, see, that's great. I said, yeah. $25,000. You could put it up there. No.
Was it your uniform though? That's the question.
Well, I don't know. It's a good point. No, I did, and it was great. You know who we went in that year with? Boom Boom Mancini.
Oh yeah,
and the Hulk.
Wow.
Hulk.
Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno.
He was there with his wife. He was, man, is he big?
The Incredible Hulk.
Big?
Yeah, he's a strange looking dude. I met Boom Boom Mancini out in Vegas during a boxing thing. He's a nice guy.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Boom
close
Boom.
to his family. His father had just passed away, and of course he was very sad. But close family. Period.
Well, if Boom Boom
so,
Mancini, if he was a landscaper, he could work for the Mancini Landscape Design Company because he's a Mancini.
That's right.
Good God.
You're right, Mike.
If you look at the letter, I was looking through the roster of inductees to the Italian American Hall of Fame, and just the letter P alone. Listen to these guys that begin with the letter P: Vinny Paz, Willie Pep, Joe Pepitone, Mike Piazza, Babe Parilli, Brian Piccolo, Rick Pitino, and Rico Petrocelli. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's big stuff.
Yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor anytime. It's an honor to be in the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, played my whole career there. But and you and I go back a long time too. I mean, not that you're not that old.
Well,
but,
the '80s is when I hung out with you at the fantasy camp, and that's when I got to know all you guys, Rico and Bill Lee and all those. And Rico, that's you. I mean, Louie. That was a good time, and that's a really good opportunity for baseball fans to get to know some of the players a little bit better, which we did. Now you're okay. So were your parents direct immigrants from Italy?
Yes. My father and mother came over in the early 1900s. Father worked in a factory, then he got a job on the Pennsylvania Railroad as a fireman. They would throw wood into the to get it going, to keep it going. And he met my mom on a trip. She was out. It was outside the railroad. The cars were going. My father looked out and said, "Hey, they were going very slow. Who's that?" And she, and so when again, they stopped it. He got to talk with her, and they went out. And next thing you know, they were married. This was in Pennsylvania.
Now, how many brothers and sisters did you have growing up? Because I know you got 4 boys, right? You got a whole infield that you raised.
Right, I got 4 boys. I come from a family of 7, 5 boys, 2 girls, and I was the youngest.
You were the youngest of all of them.
Yeah.
Now, which one of the brothers was the one that ended up being a cop at Yankee Stadium during the brawl in 1967?
Well, yeah, he wasn't a cop, but
what was he?
He was a security guard.
Oh, okay. He didn't run out of the stands.
They weren't cops. They were security guards. Yeah, he came out in the field, and me and Pepitone were on the bottom of the pile.
Now you're both in the Italian American Hall of Fame. Can you imagine that? And it's not even for fighting each other.
No, my brother goes, Pepitone. He didn't even know where we were. If he figured Pepitone was, he and him were going at it.
Right.
So he's, Pepitone, get off my brother. And you hear a voice from the guy said, you hear a voice from the bottom. I didn't touch your brother. I didn't touch him.
Pepitone's an interesting character. Now, he's from New York, but is he from your neighborhood?
Yeah, he's from near the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We didn't live that far from each other.
Yeah, Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn.
Both fortunate. Yeah, we're both fortunate to be dream come true, play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
He got to play for the hometown team, which is not always good, Mike.
No.
You know what I mean?
That can be tough.
Yeah. And so Joe had some problems, and eventually he got traded. But
Rico, his biggest problem was his hair. I mean, he constantly had things to deal with that hair. He had wigs and rugs and implants and all kinds of hair products in there. I mean, his hair really ruled his life, Joe Pepitone.
He was the first guy in the major leagues to ever carry and use a blower, a hair dryer.
Yeah.
He used to pack it with him in his little hand case. And whatever hair he had, he would blow on it, blow it. And then the wigs, they said he'd blow the wigs later on, But,
wow.
He was a character. Yeah. And so, we had some, my era, we had a lot of stories off and on the field. But
colorful people.
Different. A lot different now.
Yeah, see, I think the players are more colorful, more accessible. You could find out about them and like them for their personalities. These days, they're all little corporations now. It's kind of scary. Does that bother you, Rico? Because you played in an era where the guys, yeah, you didn't, compared to today's money, it was obviously not even close. It was maybe decent money for back then. But then most of you guys had jobs in the off season.
My first 5 years, I had jobs, Gibbs Oil Company in Massachusetts, and Mike Andrews and I, and we went out and, we were selling fuel oil,
yeah,
and stuff like that. So you had to do it. Plus, we did a few speaking engagements, and made a couple of bucks.
Sure.
But, yeah, that was, that's the way it was then.
I applied for a job as an oil delivery guy, but they told me that my hose wasn't nearly long enough.
Oh, see? Yeah, that's very common in the industry.
Now, Rico Petrocelli hit 210 home runs for the Red Sox, played all of his games for the Boston Red Sox. See, this is what I like. I don't like the guys changing teams now. It drives me nuts. You can't root for the team if the guy's on it and you didn't like him on the team he was on last. It's all kinds of... But 210 home runs for Rico, more than Nomar, more than Carlton Fisk, more than Boomer from the home run department, 773 runs batted in, ninth on the all-time Red Sox list. And did you know, Rico, I know you probably do, Rico Petrocelli had more extra base hits than Jimmy Fox in a Red Sox uniform.
Wow.
Not two. Did you know that, Rico?
No, I didn't know that. I'm not really a statistics guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go, my big thing as a hitter was I want to knock in runs. I mean, obviously you need runs to win a game.
Sure.
So when you get the opportunity, you wanted that opportunity. You wanted to get up there with men on base so you can try to knock them in. And, we had guys like Carl Yastrzemski and Tony Conigliaro and some of the others who felt the same way. And you got to feel that way.
Now, Tony and you were real pals. Tony, seeing you, you kind of came up at roughly the same. He came up in '64. You came up the following year in '65, right?
Yes, yeah. Tony and I get to meet his family, and they would invite us for Christmas and New Year's. My wife's from Seattle, Washington, so it was tough to get back there with the 4 little ones. And so Sal and Tony and his mom, they would invite us, and we'd have a great time, of course. And he lived in Swampscott, Massachusetts, and so it was really great. They were wonderful to us. And Yaz was close. We both were from New York, and we got to be real good friends. And then you start. We guys that come up together, almost that whole 67 team, all came up either 1 year apart or together. So there, it was like family. And then when guys start getting traded, you were sad because it's like losing a brother. But now with free agency, it's expected that the guy's going to go out, and see how much money he can get.
And be a multimillionaire. That's what he's going to do.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I do an impersonation of Yaz talking about the 67 Red Sox. Are you ready? And you're always included. You ready? Okay, here we go.
Hold on. Let me put you in the park.
This is Yaz talking about 67. You're going to be in the ballpark
right now. Here we go.
Well, I was very fortunate to have a very good career. Played for Mr. Yorkie for a lot of years. And Mrs. Yorkie, of course, liked me very much. Sometimes she'd pat me on the butt when I'd walk by. Rico Petrocelli, of course, is a very good friend of mine. And Lomborg, we had some other guys, too. George Scott, the Boomer. It was quite a good ball club. And I was just very fortunate to be injury-free most of the season.
That is great. That is perfect.
Doesn't that sound like Yaz?
Wow, I've never heard anybody imitate him successfully.
You know what I did on the? You remember the Big Show with Glenn Orbury? One time he had me call up. They had this underwear company that had these new enhanced underpants that made your butt cheeks look better. And I called up pretending I was Yaz and ordered some. It's like, I'd like to get some of those underwear. They freaked out. They got the owner of the company. They ran and got him because Yaz was on the phone. And I had to hang up because I mean, it just wasn't right. And Ordway was laughing. Unbelievable. So Rico Petrocelli is our guest on the podcast. He's the greatest guy, and he held the American League record for a long time for home runs by a shortstop with 40. And the only guy that could beat it was A-Rod. He's the guy who broke it, right?
Oh, yeah. He did. And people said, well, he took steroids. So what? I mean, no, not so what. I was, but you still got to hit the ball. And the guy was a great talent, whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
He was a terrific talent.
Yes,
boy.
he was. Yeah. I
He
mean,
didn't take the steroids, he'd be in the Hall of Fame, obviously.
nobody can take that talent factor away from him. But I always hated him because I don't know. Once somebody goes to the Yankees, you know how it is, Rico. You go to the Yankees, and everybody's going to hate you anyway, even if you're the greatest guy in the world, right?
Right. Absolutely. You're right. Everybody. And years ago, when I was growing up, the Yankees were almost just about every year. They were in the World Series. And, people hated them. They're buying players and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And but they'd go on and win it with Mantle, and those great players of those days.
Everybody.
But,
now, were you a Yankee fan growing up in Brooklyn, or were you a Dodger fan, or were you? Because when you were young, they had all three teams in New York. There were the Giants, Dodgers, and the Yankees.
Giants too.
So who did you like?
My brothers and sisters were Yankee fans.
Yeah.
But I used to like to go to Ebbets Field, and because it was a great stay. It was like Fenway Park, small, and people were close to you, and it was a good hitting park. And so, but I had to root for the Yankees in the American League, or else I get a beating, from my brothers. So, but Mickey Mantle was my hero. As a kid,
because when you were probably about 8 or 9 when he was just starting off, right?
Yeah.
Mickey. And, everybody, even people who hate the Yankees, like me, growing up in Connecticut as a Red Sox fan, I always had respect for specific people on the Yankees, like Mickey Mantle. He was like a god, and I never hate. How can you hate Mickey Mantle? You got to be something really evil and dark to hate a guy like Mickey Mantle, who was just so much Americana wrapped up into one person.
Yeah, I like. I feel that way about on the Yankees right now is Judge. I like Judge.
You like?
And he's a good kid. He's humble, and he goes about his business. Yeah. And that's the kind of guy you really respect.
It's not fair that he's that. It's not fair that he's that big though and strong. If too bad he's a left-handed hitter, he'd hit 900 home runs to that ballpark. Hey Rico, in '67, okay, because you came up in '65. I got a quiz for you on your first game that you ever played. Now you were only 20. You came up for a cup of coffee at the end of September 1963, right?
Right.
So you're 20 years old. And you're in your first major league game. It's against the Minnesota Twins at Fenway Park. Do you remember that pretty vividly?
Oh, sure I do.
Okay. I'm going to say first, who did you get your first major league hit off of?
He became a teammate a few years later, Lee Stang.
Stinger Stang! And your first hit was a double. I looked it up. You doubled your first major league hit off Stinger Stang, who later became Jody Reed's stepfather.
That's right.
That's kind of a weird story. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you doubled, and then you went for the next 3. You struck out, grounded out a couple times or something like that. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. 1 for 4, and what a thrill! It was getting your first hit. I still have the ball.
You do.
Turning green, but that's all right. I still have.
You're such a good guy. I hesitated to bring up the strikeout and the 2 groundouts, but I wanted to mention that first game and see if you remembered it well enough.
Oh yeah.
Now here's something you may not remember about that game. Who was the offense? The Red Sox lost 13-4. Who was the offensive star for Minnesota in that baseball game?
Wow, that's a good one.
I know you're only 20.
Was it the left fielder or Harmon Killebrew?
It was Killebrew. He hit 3 home runs that day.
Killebrew.
3 of them, yeah. God.
Yeah, they killed us. The Twins, even into 67, they still beat us, although we beat them the last 2 games.
Right.
But they were loaded. I mean, Killebrew was unbelievable. You talk about the uppercut swing. Well, he had it. Most big sluggers have it.
Yeah.
They swing up a little bit. And this guy, he hit one, no exaggeration, so help me, over the light tower. At Fenway. The ball went straight over. My God. High and far. Oh.
He's a monster.
But,
and he wasn't just him on that Twins team. They had Oliva. They had Bob Allison. They had Jimmy Hall. They had Don Mincher, all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, you caught the pop-up off the bat of Rich Rollins in 67.
That's my claim to fame. Yeah, that's it. But... Yep, and they were ahead of us. The first game that we played the day before the season ended, they played us tough, and they weren't out ahead. We come back the next day. with Lombard pitching. They went out ahead, and then we come back. That's one of the things. All the good teams, especially when you're on a roll, you usually are able to come back, from being behind late in the game. So it's exciting.
They show some guts. One more question about your opening, your first ever game. This is one. If you get this, let's put a prize package together for Rico. Okay, we'll send him a My Grandma's coffee cake if he gets this right directly to his house. Who you drove in that run on that first major league hit of yours? Who did you drive in?
Wow. Let me see. It had to be Felix Mantilla.
No, man, it's not Felix Mantilla, man. No.
Oh,
Russ Nixon.
Oh, Nixon. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I know the trivial stuff. Russ Nixon, man, huh?
Catcher. Yeah.
Now, if you would, Rico, and I know you'll be really good with all these things. If you could give us 30 seconds on each of these very well-known and colorful personalities that you happen to spend time with on the Red Sox. Because you were with them on both World Series. You were there in 75, you were there in 67, and in between those years, there was a whole bunch of really interesting Boston Red Sox players. So I'll name the guy. You give me what Rico thinks of this guy, not just now, but then. All right? We know about your friendship with Tony C. What would Tony C have become, barring the beanball and the incident? What would he have been?
Well, he would have with the DH when that came into the game. Tony would have probably ended up being a DH. Played a lot more years. He was a guy who would have hit close to, or if not over, 500 home runs. He was a legitimate home run hitter, fly balls, great strength, fearless hitter. And he just, he just had it all as far as hitting.
When you got 100 home runs at the age of 22, you're on the way to 500 easily, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's funny guys go in the locker room, and I've seen this guy in the locker room. He makes fun of everybody. You know that, and I know that. He used to make fun of your nose, which is really quite small compared to his. Louis Tiant.
Yeah, but Louis Tiant, I tell you, I feel privileged to have played with Louis 5-6 years, whatever it was. He was, he was a funny man in the clubhouse. But when he get on that mound, every once in a while, if he was having a bad day or night, he'd give up a home run to center field. He yelled out, Mike, go foul, go foul, go foul. Home run to center field, go foul. But he's a character. I'll tell you, I was when I played third. I was playing third when he was with us, and when the manager come out to take him out, like say the 8th inning, and he was ahead. No way.
Nope.
Gerald Johnson come out, Louis, I'm going to take you out. He said, no, you're not.
No, you're not taking him. He said, you don't take me out to this game. It's my game. It's my game.
Hey,
I pitch it, but
you're not taking me out, right? And I'll tell you, and of course, the manager says, okay. And he would end up winning the game.
I heard he would say to the manager sometimes, he'd say, no, you go sit down and shut up, man. This is my game. This is my ball. It's my game. You don't take me out of the ball game. You go sit down. How about our good friend, the late Dick Raditz, the monster?
Oh, the monster. Oh, he was something else. He'd come out from the bullpen. They had that golf cart. Remember the golf carts that used to come out?
Yes.
Well, he'd get off that golf cart just before it stopped. So it was rolling somewhat, and he'd get off it, take his jacket off, and the fans would be going nuts. And he was the closer, but he didn't pitch one inning. He pitched 3-4 innings.
Sometimes 9.
One game in New York, he pitched 7 innings.
Yeah, in relief.
And won.
Yeah, that was a 1-1 tie. Went on for see back then, Rico. And I don't know if you know what now. No, there's no complete games anymore. Back then, the men were men, even the pitchers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you had your 1, 2, 3 pitchers, 4 and 5 was always, you hope you get 10 games out of the 12 wins. But your 1, 2, 3, you're hoping certainly for 20, 15 for second, maybe 14 for your third. If you can get those wins, because we didn't have the bullpens like they have now. I mean, the 5th inning, we go to the bullpen.
Oh, yeah, and then lefty righty,
That's not going to improve. That's going to be the same if not worse, where you can be a starting pitcher, or they won't even have pitchers that are considered starting pitchers. We just have a pitching staff.
Yeah, right.
So we don't know who's going to start or who's going to be in the bullpen.
I hate that. I had dinner with Fergie Jenkins and Spaceman one night. He was telling me 1971, which is the year you flipped over to third base. In the National League, he won the Cy Young Award, Fergie did, and he had 30 complete games.
30, right.
What?
Probably pitched over 300 innings.
Sure. Well, there's 270 right there, just the complete games. Yeah, he was like, I mean, this is unbelievable change in the whole structure of the pitching staffs now, Rico.
Yeah,
Rico, which team was better, 67 or 75?
Well, it's 67. We had a lot of young players. You know, we were all young, so we hadn't hit peaks yet. Yaz was around 27 years old. He hit the 40, Triple Crown. And
you were 24. You were 24, right?
24, yes.
Yeah.
But the 75 team, I think, was more of a veteran team, with the exception of Lynn and Rice and Dwight Evans. Dwight was young, too.
Right.
Great outfield. What a great outfield that was.
Yeah, you had some veterans, and Fisk was obviously a key veteran presence on that 75 team.
Yeah, I think they would probably have more talent on that team. Yeah, they should have won a couple of pennants at least, maybe one World Series in that period of time.
Yeah, well, I think that there's no reason why they wouldn't have been right there in '76. Bill Lee got hurt in Yankee Stadium brawl. Were you in that brawl too?
Oh yeah, I was there. I was trying to break it up and
with your fists.
Poor Bill. They jumped on his shoulder. 3 guys. First you start out wrestling. Well, most of it is just like wrestling match. But 3 guys jumped on that pitching shoulder, and oh man, it was really never the same.
Dislocated, that was off, and that changed the trajectory of his career as well. Because he had been the prior 3 years, Rico, as you know, he'd won 17 games each year, and then in '76 he got hurt, and the Red Sox pennant hopes went down the drain. So that was too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I got something here that this is now. This is something I found on the internet. I don't know if you want to. We all take part in this. You guys got to pick a state. I found the most lewd-sounding town names in each state. In other words, the town that has the grossest name in each state. So why don't you guys take turns and yell out a state? Let's go with Rico first. Name any state in America, Rico.
Okay, I will say Nebraska.
Nebraska has a town called Dry Wood. Go ahead, Smitty. You go.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island has a town called Ramtown. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, well, let's keep it home. Massachusetts.
Woonsocket.
No, that's Rhode Island.
Oh, I'm sorry. I switched them around, didn't I?
Ramtown is Massachusetts?
Sorry. Felchville.
Felchville. California.
Okay, Rough and Ready. There's a town called Rough and Ready, California. Go ahead, Smitty. Go ahead.
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Bluet. B-L-U-I-T. All right, I'll pick one. How about Texas? Kinkler, Texas.
Kinkler?
Give me New York.
New York, New York. Let's see. Butternuts.
Butternut.
Yeah.
A town called Butternut.
Yeah.
How about Washington State?
Hump tulips.
What?
Hump tulips.
Hump tulips. It's like humping a tulip. Let's see. Wanker's Corner, Oregon. Lubers, Utah.
Nevada.
Colorado. Virgin, Utah.
Virgin, Utah.
Isn't that most of the state?
Cooter, Missouri?
Cooter.
What?
There you go.
Who's going to name their town? I know. Let's call this town Cooter.
Good idea, Bob.
Did you know that there's a Butts, Georgia, B-U-T-T-S, and there's in Ohio there's PP Township. Aren't these great?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a reality show where we grab like old Red Sox players, Rico Petrocelli, Bill Lee, Louis Tiant. We visit each one of these towns.
What's up in Vermont?
Vermont has Cozy Corner, Effingham. That's New Hampshire. There's Beaver City, a Bone Steel. There's a town called Splunge, Louisiana. This is going to be my big calling in life, to do a reality show about weird town names. What do you think?
I think you'd be good at it, Mike.
Yeah. Now, Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, is really Brooklyn. So it's like Sheepshead Bay is just an area of Brooklyn, and that's where Rico's from.
Yep.
Rico Petrocelli, my friends, Red Sox Hall of Fame legend, one of the greatest guys ever to play the game, and one of my favorite people ever. And I'm a huge fan, Rico.
Fans, I'll tell you, you've been great over the years, a friend, and just an outstanding broadcaster. All kidding aside, you have fun, and that's what's great. You have fun when you broadcast, and you're a funny guy, and it comes out. That's you can't teach that.
Well, thank you. If I don't have fun, I either get fired.
Fans have been great to me.
I either get fired or I quit if I don't have fun. That's what I have one rule. Well, we're going to dedicate this last song because of the Italian nature of the guest tonight. Rico Petrocelli, second generation American, first generation. His parents came over on the boat, probably, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're gonna dedicate this to Rico, and it's sung by another New York native Italian American person, and his name was Dion DiMucci. And Rico, thanks a lot, man. This is for you, buddy. Ready? Joe and Jerry Castigliochi. You go first, Troop.
Well, I'm the type of guy who'll never settle down. Where pretty girls are, well, you know that I'm around.
I kiss them and I love them, because to me they're all the same, Troop.
I hug them and I squeeze them, I don't even know their name.
They call me the Wanderer. Yeah, the Wanderer. I roam around.
Well, there's Flo on my left, and there's Mary on my right, and Janie's the girl that I'll be with tonight.
And when she asked me, the one I love the best, I tear off my shirt, show Rosie on my chest, because I'm a wanderer, Troop. At Shaw's, I go around and round and round and round. I'm getting dizzy, Troop.
Well, I roam from town to town. I go through life without my pants on. I'm as happy as a clown, Joe.
With my 2 fists of iron, but I'm going nowhere. I'm the type of guy who likes to roam around. I'm never in one place. I roam from town to town.
And when I find myself falling for some girl, I hop right into the Caramine and ride around the world like John Jaha. Yeah, I'm a wanderer,